Hey y'all, I'm Jack Ingram, and this is the Texas music scene. We're hanging at Arlyn Studios in Austin, my go-to spot when it's time to get honest with a guitar and a microphone, maybe a fiddle, if you're lucky. And that's exactly the vibe of this episode. We're calling this one a songwriter session, what I like to call an acoustic motel kind of night. Every performance this week comes from a stripped-down, all-acoustic taping we hosted at Assembly Hall in Austin, Texas. It was one of those nights where the lyrics hit hard and the silence between the notes means something. We're kicking things off with Love and Chaos, the duo of AJ Vallejo and Kendall. Their chemistry is undeniable, and their song Preacher's Daughter set the tone right out of the gate. Then Darby Sparkman steps up with Drink with Jones, a raw, haunting song that shows why she's past becoming a name to know. And to wrap it up, Texas favorites Max and Heather Stalling bring a sweet, classic country ease to the stage with their song Travelin Lite. Great songs, stripped down. Nothing in the way. Let's get it going. This is the Texas music scene, unplugged. Starting things off with Love and Chaos, AJ Vallejo and Kendall. These two bring equal parts edge, heart, and melody. Here's their performance of Preacher's Daughter, recorded live at Assembly Hall in Austin, Texas.
So Love and Chaos really developed really naturally. AJ produced my first two albums. So we kind of started writing together, and then AJ kind of had his own solo projects going, and we did what was supposed to just be like a one-off song called Out of State, Out of Mind, and we wrote, recorded it, and did a video for it in like 3 days.
3 days, yeah.
And we released it, and everyone just fell in love with it.
We were doing a showcase with our separate bands with a label guy. We did our 2 separate sets, and then for the encore, we did our song, Out of State, Out of Mind. We were like, what'd you think? After the show, he was like, love what y'all do separately, but whatever that was, y'all should play with that. With that mentality, working as a duo, I think we recorded like 14 songs in like a week.
It created a really unique sound. AJ coming from like a super rock background and me coming from a very country background. I think Love and Chaos really blends all of those sounds together and appeals to kind of its own unique audience.
I know that's the question everybody asks, who's love and who's chaos? And it's obviously AJ, that's the chaos. This is a song called Preacher's Daughter. It's off the new album. We hope y'all enjoy it.
Does anybody here like live music? Make some noise, y'all. If y'all like that loud music. Yeah. Born and raised on a plantation, running through the fields of a Georgia sun. Long blonde hair, eye blue as the sky. Daddy, little girl, I love his eyes. Church bells ringing, choir sing with jubilation. But you don't know where she goes when she leaves the congregation. There she goes against the Father, gone against everything he taught her. Better not fall for the preacher's daughter. Hear out her in the holy water.
Don't go messing around with the preacher's daughter.
Why don't you go fool around with the preacher's daughter? Hey! Son of a slave from a cotton gin. you so much for Love and Chaos. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome back to the Texas music scene. Now let's lean into something a little fun and a lot of country from Darby Sparkman. She's a Texas native with a hell of a voice and a gift for pulling you into the story. Here's Drink with Jones, recorded live and acoustic at Assembly Hall.
This is called Drink with Jones. I wrote it when I believe I was 15 or 16. It was the very first song that I had ever written where I showed it to my parents and my mom said, "Who wrote that?" And I was like, "I did." And she said, "That's a pretty good song." And I thought, well, I got something, and I've been playing it ever since. It was my very first radio single that I released in Texas when I was 17 or 18 possibly. I recorded it in Acuff, Texas, in the middle of a cotton field with a guy named Alan Crossland. And I'm excited to play it tonight, and I'm hoping that one day in the studio we'll re-record it and re-release it to radio, because 17-year-olds don't know what they're doing. So I'd like to give this song another shot, and I'm glad to be playing it today for everyone to hear it. So
I started writing songs when I was pretty young. This was one of the very first times that I had written a song that people started coming up to me and being like, "Who wrote that?" And I was like, "Oh, it was me." And I'm really glad to share it with y'all. It's called Drink with Jones. It was on my first record, and it was the first radio single that I released in Texas when I was just a young pup. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad y'all are here, and here's Drink with Jones. They say it takes a lot to be a good man. You gotta know when to run and know when to stand. You gotta pick your battles and win your race. Be sure to get up when you fall on your face. You gotta walk with Jesus and drink with Jones. You gotta smoke with Willie and roll with the Stones. You gotta love like a hippie until you're haggard and worn. You've gotta walk with Jesus and drink with Jones. I've been in this life longer than I should. I've fallen from grace more times than I've stood at the feet of Jesus, begging for a sin. Sometimes you gotta mess up to know that he's still in. You gotta walk with Jesus and drink with Jones. You gotta smoke with Willie and roll with the Stones. You gotta love like a hippie until you're haggard and worn. You've gotta walk with Jesus and drink with Jones. Y'all give it up for the boys in the band. They're working overtime tonight. and wrong. It's hard to tell which side I'm on. So before I go, please let me say, it's taken some living to get me this way. I've had to walk with Jesus and drink with Jones. I've had to smoke with Willie and roll with the Stones. I've had to love like a hippie till I was haggard, and I've had to walk with Jesus and drink with Jones. Well, I had to learn when to walk with Jesus and when to drink with old George Jones. Thank y'all so much.
Stick around, Max and Hot Heather Stalling coming back to close this one out. Their song Travelin Lite brings it home with hooks and heart. That's coming up next when the Texas music scene rolls on. Next up, Max and Hot Heather Stalling, a Texas music power couple. They've been making music together for years, and their chemistry shows up in every line. Here's their song Travelin Lite from our acoustic session at Assembly Hall.
Tell us about Travelin Lite.
Travelin Lite.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't write the song. Of course he did. But,
She makes it better, though.
We traveled here with 2 guitars, a fiddle, and amp, and about 6 suitcases, because we've been gone for I don't know how long. I don't remember the last time we were home. We do not travel light, but it's called Travelin Lite.
It is notable that we, we spend a lot of time on the road, and I think maybe we're trying to take our house with us. I don't know. We got a lot of stuff, and
We always forget something.
yeah, and still manage to forget something. But yeah, this is another one of these songs that is from a bunch of years ago. Back in 2000, it was on this White Afternoon record, and it's about the premise that this life that we live, it can leave you feeling a little unrooted. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I got the idea riding on an airline. I was flying, I don't know where, and I opened a magazine. I think it was a Texas Monthly article about this lady who was from Dallas originally, Sloan Simpson. And she was from Dallas, and she wound up marrying the mayor, I think of Chicago, maybe New York. But she had this really interesting life, and he died at one point, and then she wound up traveling the world. And then they were asking her about her life, and she said that the currency that she traded in was Travelin Lite, which I thought was cool.
I've never heard this part of the story.
Well, it just came to me.
And so I noticed we're not doing any ex-girlfriend songs tonight.
Glaring sun at midday makes it hard to see the road. A lot of miles since last night and a whole lot more to go. And the brightness has me blinking, and the whole thing's got me thinking on the price of a life of traveling light. Trying to live up to the words that some old writer felt. Spend your youth before you die and don't outlive yourself. Lord, that gets expensive on troubadours and minstrels. It's the price of a life of traveling light. And it's the price of a life, I guess. The price of a life, I guess. The price of a life of traveling light. I'd like to lay my head down, girl, gently in your lap, and let you stroke my hair as I take a nap. And you could hum a lover's tune underneath your breath, and I can almost see your face, but I ain't there yet. And I have lost my mind before, lost my heart a few times for sure, lost my way, but I've never lost my keys. And I tell you this for starters, ships ain't built for harbors. It's the price of a life of traveling light. It's the price of a life, I guess. The price of a life, I guess. The price of a life of traveling light. Well, I got friends who cannot read, and I've got friends with PhDs, and everything there is in between. And I wouldn't trade a single one, the laughs we've had, the beers we've drunk. A man that don't need friends, he ain't no friend to me. I got friends from there to here, the payoff from all of these rambling years. If friends were gold, I'd be a king, I guess. Friendship's better than gold or crowns, having a bunch of wanna weigh you down. It's the price of a life of traveling light. And it's the price of a life, I guess. The price of a life, I guess. The price of a life of traveling light. Town to town, city to city, village to village, burg to burg, hamlet to hamlet. Tonight we find ourselves right here in Austin, Texas, America, ladies and gentlemen. On the Texas music scene, no less. Not a bad way to spend an evening, don't you say? Thank y'all for a beautiful evening, everybody.
Thank you so much.
And that's a wrap on this acoustic ride, y'all. Big thanks to Assembly Hall for letting us strip it all back and let the songs shine. Props to Love and Chaos, Darby Sparkman, Max and Heather Stalin, showing how powerful a song can be when it's left wide open. And thank you for tuning in. Keep supporting live music. Keep supporting the songwriters behind it, because Texas is the one place that truly celebrates the independent spirit of making music. Let's keep it that way. We'll see you next time.